I'm going to try to explain Bitcoining for you. What I know is very simple. Let me first mention that if you want to get involved in Bitcoining and start mining, the best way to do it right now, 2017, is let other people mine for you. And I'll explain that to you in a moment. So what you basically do is very simple. There's two mining companies out there that are very large and are trustworthy. One's based in Iceland. It's called Genesis. And the other one, I believe, again, if I'm wrong on any of this, please leave a comment. But if you go Genesis Mining or Genesis Bitcoin in Google, you'll find it. Just set up an account, and I'll leave a link. The other one is Hashflare, and that's based in Scotland. So just basically what you do is you set up accounts with those miners, you let them do the mining, you put in your dollars or your pounds or whatever your currency is, and then as they're mining and your value of Bitcoin increases or decreases, then you can cash out, and that's how you can kind of invest in Bitcoin at the moment. So Genesis Mining and also Hashflare. Just you go in, basically set up an account, and link your bank account, give them some dollars and or pounds, whatever it may be, again, and you let them do the mining, and then you get what the exchange value. That makes sense. Now, Bitcoin is cryptocurrency, so it's all cloud. It's all cloud based. Really, it's all a value of math and writing algorithm. If that makes sense to you. Now, there's other cryptocurrencies that also feed into Bitcoin, are part of Bitcoin, and there's also competitors to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is the largest one today, and it's the most trusted one. But basically, where it comes from is a guy or a group of guys or women or an engineer, software engineers. 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto, I think, is the name of the group or the person, engineered essentially a mound of gold, if you will. And that mound of gold, again, represents blocks or nuggets of gold. The total quantity of 21 million. And in the early day of 2009, you could actually mine for Bitcoin, nuggets of gold, if you will, on your laptop. There's so many people involved in Bitcoin now, you can no longer do that. And the processing power requires way more than that's involved in the laptop. So you're talking like large like warehouse size computers trying to figure out how to crack the next block. And each block contains about 25 Bitcoin. So if you're mining like Genesis or Hashflare are mining, every block or every nugget of gold that they are awarded of the 21 million total Bitcoin, they get 25 Bitcoin. This is just basic, and this is just what I know. And if you know more, then please leave a comment. But it doesn't really make sense for the average person unless you've got about 40 grand to invest and start up your own mining operation. It really doesn't make sense for you to get into investing in Bitcoin or mining Bitcoin unless you've got that, because the value is rapidly gaining. So if you were to buy, for instance, like a $500, what's called an Ant2 processor, and start mining with that, you're going to be spending, from what I'm learning, you're just going to be spending more money on electricity to even break even on the module, and then pay your that electrical bills. Excuse me. So at the moment, pardon me. So at the moment, it's far cheaper to let other people mine for you, and you basically, again, you set up your account, you link your bank account, you throw in some dollars, and then you let them mine, and then they give you they gave you the exchange rate, and the exchange value. So it's the best way to get involved in Bitcoin right now. To really kind of give you an idea of what Bitcoin is, it is really nothing more than, it's a resemblance of the value of the total number of people online using computers. Really, I mean, it doesn't equate to if you have a nugget of gold in your hand. It doesn't equate to if you own 10 acres of land somewhere. Now, it's becoming more valuable because it does symbolize, again, its value is built on the number of people that are using, that are connecting themselves via the internet. Again, it's called a cryptocurrency. So it takes away a third party, a centralized banking system, i.e. a Federal Reserve. It knocks them out and allows peer-to-peer transactions. And again, the success of it depends on, from everything I understand, depends on the number of people that are really communicating online. So it's a symbolic of the value of the internet, in a sense. Now, it doesn't mean that new mines can't be set up or engineered or discovered, which could certainly happen. But it really is to take the place. It's set up to take the place of the gold standard, which doesn't exist really anymore. It does, but it doesn't. Certainly, the U.S. economy is not based off of a gold standard. It was and has been. So it's a kind of a complex understanding, but it certainly is real-time value in Bitcoin, because you're obviously on YouTube right now and you're listening to me. So there's value in that. There's value in that because I'm able to communicate with you. You're able to receive my communication, and there's value in that. And so a Bitcoin or a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency is symbolic of that. I don't have a better answer because I don't have a better understanding. That's what I'm trying to relate to you. So as the internet grows, and I know there's no relation between Bitcoin per se and Instagram or Facebook and Twitter. Again, it's an overall. It's like CERN. If you understand what CERN is, if you understand who Tim Berners-Lee, I think is his name, Tim Berners-Lee. If you understand who that is, if you understand HTTP and really the overall kind of mechanics of what makes up the internet as we know it, then you can kind of relate. Okay, what's the value of Bitcoin, and how does that kind of play into things? Again, it's really the ability for me to you to exchange a currency without having to go through a bank. Again, this is the best explanation I can give you at the moment, and as I learn more, then I'll give you more. How this relates to what I do on a weekly basis, and today I have my weekly radio show, iantrottier.com, IANTROTTIER. Sorry about that. Again, IANTROTTIER.com, and I talk about stuff like that, about the Federal Reserve, if you will, and how that's a central banking system. It's a private organization that isn't symbolic of the value of the United States. They're basically, from what I'm understanding, they've invested in the United States, and they might be Americans. I'm not saying they're not, but I don't think they're limited to Americans. And if you can tell me who's in the Federal Reserve, then you know more than I would assume 90% of the people on the planet. They've certainly invested in the country, but the Federal Reserve, which we all use Federal Reserve notes if you're using the American dollar, is not symbolic of the actual value of the United States Treasury. And that's stuff I get into on my radio program. WinwoodRadio.com is where I stream every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So anyway, so that's my understanding of Bitcoin. It's doing very well. I think like 2-3 months ago, it was like $1,000 of Bitcoin. Now it's over $4,000 of Bitcoin. And again, you can't mine for Bitcoin on like your laptop or like basic device, just because there's so many other miners out there, and the complexity to actually mine another nugget, if you will, or a new block of Bitcoin in that chain is just requires almost like mega computers at the moment. Not really mega computers, so like 50 or 40 grand will get you a decent setup, my understanding. But anyway, so the best thing to do is to let some of these other mines out there mine for you, and then you invest, and you invest in their mining ability. If that makes any sense. All right, so thanks for listening to me, and have a great day. I'll have some links for you if you're interested in Genesis and or Hashflare.